Things possibly get worse for Iran right now. As American air power pounds targets across the country, a massive new development has just entered the Mediterranean Sea. The United States has deployed a third aircraft carrier to the region, and this changes the entire balance of power. Because when three U.S. carrier strike groups operate together, it creates something few nations on Earth could survive: an overwhelming wall of naval air power. Right now, three American supercarriers are closing in on Iran: the USS Abraham Lincoln, the USS Gerald R. Ford, and now the newest arrival, USS George H.W. Bush. Together, these ships form one of the largest concentrations of American naval power deployed in decades. And for Iran, it could remove the last leverage it has left in this war. How could things possibly get worse for Iran right now? As American air power pounds targets across the country, on March 8th, reports confirmed that the USS George H.W. Bush was deployed and is currently heading toward the Mediterranean. This massive warship is a Nimitz-class supercarrier, one of the most powerful naval platforms ever built. The carrier will soon join the other U.S. naval forces already surrounding Iran. Meanwhile, the USS Gerald R. Ford has moved through the Suez Canal and is now operating in the Red Sea. Its mission? To intercept any attempt by Iran's regional allies, particularly the Houthis in Yemen, to enter the conflict. And the USS Abraham Lincoln continues launching air operations against Iranian targets. On March 8th, reports confirmed that the USS George H.W. Bush was Before deployment, the George H.W. Bush Carrier Strike Group completed intense combat training exercises. Over a 28-day exercise, the carrier's aircraft flew 1,586 sorties, nearly 700 arrested landings during daylight, and over 680 landings at night. These drills simulate real combat conditions, meaning the carrier strike group is now fully combat ready. Its commanding officer made the mission clear: whenever America needs air superiority, strike power, or electronic warfare, they are ready to deliver immediately. Before deployment, the George H.W. Bush Carrier Strike Group completed. The USS George H.W. Bush itself is heavily defended. It carries advanced radar systems, missile launchers, and close-in defense weapons capable of firing thousands of rounds per minute. But the carrier's true power comes from the aircraft it launches. A typical air wing includes F/A-18 Super Hornet fighter jets, electronic warfare aircraft, airborne radar command planes, helicopters for anti-submarine and rescue operations. In total, the carrier can host over 70 aircraft. And here's the frightening part: aircraft can launch every 20 seconds, meaning a full strike package can be airborne in just minutes. The USS George H.W. Bush itself. So why deploy another supercarrier? The U.S. military already appears to dominate the battlefield. Iran's navy has reportedly suffered massive losses. Its air defenses have been severely weakened, and many of its missile launch systems have already been destroyed. But there is still one powerful lever Iran can pull, a location that could disrupt the global economy: the Strait of Hormuz. So why deploy another supercarrier? The U.S. military already. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most critical shipping routes on Earth. Nearly 20% of the world's oil supply passes through this narrow waterway. Every month, roughly 3,000 ships move through it, and Iran has threatened to block the strait completely. Even with much of its navy destroyed, Iran still possesses fast attack boats, naval drones, small missile platforms. In such a narrow passage, even small forces could create major disruption, which is why global energy markets are watching closely. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most critical. This is where the USS George H.W. Bush may play a critical role. Military analysts believe the carrier could lead operations to escort commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's fast attack boats rely on swarming tactics, but against a carrier strike group, those boats would stand almost no chance. Carrier aircraft, helicopters, and naval escorts could detect and destroy threats long before they approach shipping lanes. By protecting the strait, the United States could restore the flow of global energy shipments, and that would remove Iran's final economic pressure tactic. This is where the USS George H.W. Bush may play a critical role. Military analysts believe the carrier could lead operations to escort commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's fast attack boats rely on swarming tactics, but against a carrier strike group, those boats would stand almost no chance. Carrier aircraft, helicopters, and naval escorts could detect and destroy threats long before they approach shipping lanes. By protecting the strait, the United States could restore the flow of global energy shipments. And that would remove Iran's final economic pressure tactic. This is where the USS George H.W. Bush may play. Aircraft carriers are often described as floating air bases, and that mobility is crucial. Iran has tried targeting American bases across the Middle East, but aircraft carriers constantly move. They are harder to locate, harder to target, and heavily defended by destroyers, cruisers, and submarines. Adding a third carrier means another mobile base launching strikes, and another moving target Iran must worry about. Aircraft carriers are. Recent reports suggest Iran's military capabilities have already been significantly weakened. Many air defense systems have been destroyed, missile launch sites have been struck repeatedly, and drone attacks from Iran have reportedly dropped dramatically compared to the first days of the conflict. Military leaders claim that drone launches have fallen by over 80%. Ballistic missile launches have dropped by nearly 90%. These numbers suggest the pressure campaign is working. The arrival of the USS George H.W. Bush may signal something even bigger, a shift into the next phase of the campaign. With 3 carriers available, the U.S. can rotate operations. 2 carriers can remain on combat missions, while the third rests crews, maintains aircraft, and prepares the next wave. This system allows for sustained military pressure without exhausting pilots or equipment. In other words, the strikes could continue. At this stage, analysts believe the United States may have achieved air supremacy. That means American aircraft can operate with minimal resistance. Stealth aircraft like the F-35 can eliminate remaining air defense pockets. After that, non-stealth aircraft like the F-A-18 can deliver the bulk of strike missions. This layered strategy, stealth first, overwhelming force second, has already resulted in thousands of airstrikes. And with another carrier entering the region, that number could rise dramatically. Some analysts believe the current strike count could double or even triple in the coming weeks. The goal is clear: maintain relentless pressure on Iran's military infrastructure, command centers, missile facilities, and remaining naval assets. The arrival of a third carrier ensures the United States can continue operations at full intensity. At this stage, analysts believe Inside Iran, the situation is becoming increasingly uncertain. Reports indicate growing political instability and confusion among leadership. Diplomatic messages have shifted rapidly. Apologies to neighboring countries were followed by new attacks. These conflicting signals suggest the government is struggling to manage the crisis, and the pressure from continued strikes may only intensify that instability. The deployment of the USS George H.W. Bush sends a clear message. The United States is not preparing to slow down. Instead, it is expanding its military presence. With 3 supercarriers operating in the region, the U.S. now possesses the ability to project enormous force at any moment. And until the situation changes, that pressure is likely to continue. Inside Iran, the situation is becoming For Iran, the arrival of a third carrier may signal that the conflict is entering a new and even more intense phase. For the United States, it represents a strategy built on overwhelming air power and sustained pressure. But the big question remains, what happens next? Will Iran escalate further, or will diplomacy finally take center stage? Stay with Ocean Navy Titans as we continue tracking the most powerful naval